everyone. In this video, we are going to talk a little bit more about individualized learning experiences. And let me just say, I'm definitely a proponent for individualized learning, and I think that that is the most impactful learning that we can actually deliver to students because it's specific to their own needs and wants. But I do want to talk through some different ways that we can do that, specifically more so about learning experience platforms or LXPs. And these are relatively new. They're becoming more popular as AI tools are becoming more refined, and they rely very heavily on AI and algorithms to function. So, what an LXP or a learning experience platform is a little bit different than an LMS because it houses all of the concepts and information that a learning or a learner may access. So that probably depends on what programming is available or what organization they're a part of or that type of information. But it actually gives the learner the ability to choose what they want to learn more about and the concepts and skills that they want to develop. So, again, that is highly dependent on where the learning experience platform is built through and offered through. But this differs from an LMS, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, a learning management system, because LMSs are typically built from a top-down approach where all of the content and programming is housed in the LMS, and the content is somewhat prescriptive, and it doesn't really give the learner a lot of choice as far as what they have to learn or master. An LXP also has since AI is built heavily into it, it does give the ability for the learner to ask questions and gain outside resources and just have a different type of learning experience, which is a good thing. Both LMSs and LXPs do have opportunities to build in individualized learning, which is awesome. And, as more AI tools become available and are becoming more functional with our learning management systems or platforms, this will only increase. But I do want to talk through some potential cons of using an LXP over an LMS. So, again, LXPs can be great options for social learning and for knowledge management in organizations because you are able to access the knowledge from all of the participants and they can learn from each other horizontally. But an LXP, since it is highly dependent on the algorithm and AI in general, can cause learners to plateau. And although we do see this in LMSs as well, the plateau may actually be a little bit lower because as a learner engages with the content and then participates in an assessment, if they fail the assessment or continuously get the same part of the assessment wrong regarding certain concepts, the algorithm actually can make the assessment easier. So this is meant to help the learner pass the assessment, but it may not actually lead the learner to mastering that skill or concept at the desired level. So that's something just to keep in mind as you are learning more about these different platforms and making those decisions depending on your role or where you work. That's something definitely to keep in mind as well, because assessment is really, the biggest part of the individualized learning experience. We want to assess what students or learners know, and if we don't provide them with ample opportunities and ample resources to meet the levels of mastery that we want, our assessments won't be accurate. So I encourage you to look into these different platforms and to consider how individualized learning really does play into your decisions.